From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. If you're a homeowner in Colorado, there are a few types of natural disaster that might threaten your home. One is wildfires. Another is a severe hailstorm. Hazards like these are the reason people buy homeowners insurance. But a new analysis released this month says that hailstorms and wildfires have very different impacts on what Colorado homeowners pay for insurance. As you might expect, the threat of wildfires drives up premiums in areas that are prone to wildfire. The threat of hail, however, increases insurance just about everywhere in the state. And as real estate prices climb, the cost of insuring homes against hail damage is also soaring. The report by the Colorado Division of Insurance, which is a state agency, looks at what shapes your monthly premiums if you own a home. And it raises questions about what might help lower those costs. Rachel Cohen covers natural disasters for the Mountain West News Bureau, which KUNC News is a part of. She's here to walk through the report with us. Rachel, welcome back to In The NoCo.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Rachel, one big takeaway from this report is that hail damage and the cost of insuring against it affects everyone. And the burden of insuring homes against wildfires is carried mostly by homeowners outside of Colorado's urban areas. Why does this contrast matter? And why did the Colorado Division of Insurance want to produce this report?
The Division of Insurance really wanted to make it clear that hail is a statewide issue for the cost of insurance. It's something that people all over the state should care about. And I think in the end, they wanted to also show that there's something that we can do about it in Colorado. The state requested data from 20 insurance companies and looked at 11 counties in particular to get this snapshot. And what it found was that hail accounts for about a quarter to half of the total homeowner insurance premium in Colorado. It depends on the county, but the report showed that hail is the biggest cost driver of homeowners insurance, and most everyone is paying for it in some way. Wildfires are very serious, of course, and when it comes to where people can find insurance or their difficulty to find it, wildfires are often the big reason. But when we're talking about cost, hail is the biggest problem.
It's so interesting to me because I guess I'll say hail is less scary than wildfire. It's less spectacular. Hail dents your roof rather than burning down your neighborhood. What did this study reveal about how hail takes a toll on homes in Colorado?
Right. Hail doesn't usually destroy an entire neighborhood the way wildfires can, but it does cause really frequent and costly damage that just adds up really quickly. You can have a 15-minute hailstorm and there could be tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of houses in the path of that hail. And so just the costs from the hail impacting all those roofs and cars, the damage adds up. For example, a hailstorm in 2017 in the Denver area where people reported hailstones the size of baseballs caused almost $3 billion in damage. Those types of expensive storms are happening more frequently in Colorado.
I want to talk about possible solutions. The State Division of Insurance thinks we should be working to limit hail damage more than we do right now. What kinds of modifications would the Division of Insurance like to see Colorado homeowners make?
Yeah, you might think of, houses in the path of a hailstorm as kind of sitting ducks. I mean, in comparison, the steps that we can take to mitigate against wildfires have gotten a lot of attention recently. So like clearing the brush around your house. But something that surprised me in talking to Colorado's insurance commissioner about this report is he actually thinks that we have even more potential to mitigate against hail than wildfires. A lot of that has to do with protecting your roof against hail, either doing upgrades or new roofs as well. But also that in comparison to wildfires, insurance companies are currently offering more opportunities for lower rates for doing work to protect against hail than they are for wildfires. So there's more of a tangible monetary benefit that homeowners could see from doing this work. Of course, upgrading your roof or getting a new one, that can cost a lot of money. And so one thing that the Division of Insurance has been pushing for is legislation that would make it easier for homeowners to do that through grants. So essentially lowering the cost to repair our roofs.
It's so interesting because I don't know if the average homeowner has a sense that they could save a lot of money by doing hail mitigation. So basically, if you redo your roof with hail-resistant shingles, you could get a break on your insurance premiums.
Yes. So the report that the state just released, one of the questions it asked insurance companies was about discounts that they offer for this work. And it varies county to county, but it's in the ballpark of a few $100s, and that's annually, that homeowners could receive. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a whole new roof that they can put in. There are smaller upgrades that can help.
Rachel, we should note some of this mitigation work is not cheap. Fortifying a roof against hail damage can cost thousands of dollars.
Right. Depending on what upgrades we're talking about, it could be $1,000 to several $1,000s.
Well, you mentioned the Division of Insurance has proposed creating a bill to incentivize some of this hail mitigation work on homes. How likely are we to see a bill during this legislative session?
The Division of Insurance says they do expect legislation this session. This was something that they did try last year that did not make it through. And part of the reason for that is it was just a complicated package with many components. There appears to be growing recognition, in part through this research, that hail is a major driver of insurance costs. And that's one of the reasons why the state wanted to produce this report, was to convince lawmakers that were maybe on the edge last year that this is a problem across the state of Colorado and that there are also solutions available.
Rachel Cohen, thanks so much for talking with us about this.
Thank you.
Rachel Cohen is our correspondent for the Mountain West News Bureau. You can find more of her coverage on the price of insurance in Colorado at our website, KUNC.org. It's part of a series from KUNC News called The Price of Paradise, exploring the rising cost of living here in Colorado. The news team here at KUNC will also keep you posted on that legislation Rachel mentioned. The Division of Insurance is working out some details with legislators who opposed it last year in hopes that it will have a better chance of passing this time around. If you found this conversation interesting, tomorrow we turn to another type of natural disaster, wildfire. Specifically, why some blazes move faster than others, and why they can be exponentially more destructive than other wildfires. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.